Here we go. So, another episode starts tonight. Hello, everyone that's going to tune in. So, looking forward to tonight. It's going to be I'm going to invite him and then I'll introduce you to tonight's podcast. So it should be really good. We've got Simon tonight. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Hi, Lewis. You well?
Good, bud. Good.
Good. Let me just invite Simon. And then we're all good to get rolling with it. Here we go. Here we go. Now with a smooth transition, sometimes it can be a bit tricky to get guests on, but how are you, Simon?
Very well, thank you. Very well indeed.
Good to see you both. So I'll start with a little introduction. So this is going to be Landscapers Live episode, I don't even remember because there's quite a few now, but it's a Carpenters special. So I've got two great carpenters with me tonight. So we've got Simon Bowler and we got Lewis from Josh Lewis Brothers Carpentry.
Josh.
Oh, I got your name right. Huh?
Josh.
Is it Josh?
Josh Lewis.
I always forget. Is it Josh or Lewis?
Josh.
So it is Josh. So good to have you both on tonight. And like I was saying, it is a carpenter special. This kind of live is mainly around landscaping, design, and all the rest. So I think it's quite interesting to bring your set of skills to the table because we're seeing a lot more landscaping turning their hands to carpentry, right? So, a lot more garden rooms are being built, a lot more pergolas and, things like what Simon, you create. So we're seeing a lot more of that skill kind of spread around in our industry. So it'd be a great evening to talk about all of this and see your point of views and things like that. So I'm going to start with an introduction to either whoever feels more confident to start, a little bit of a background on yourself, your company, and how you got to where you are now. So Josh, if you want to start, go for it.
My name's Josh, 25 years old. Done carpentry since I've left school. Started my apprenticeship, went to college 1 day a week for 3 years, done level 2, level 3, and then done I've done a bit extra, done the skill builds, competed in the skill builds. I loved it all very much. I quite miss going to college, and I tell my apprentices nowadays to soak it up and enjoy it because time flies, and before you know it, you wish you were going back for 1 day a week sometimes. I went self-employed over 2 years ago now, and I haven't looked back. And if anyone wants to go self-employed, just do it. I wish I'd done it sooner.
So that's it. So you've gone self-employed, and do you have any guys? Is it just you? What kind of company are you running?
I work with my brother, and I'm training a youngster at the minute.
Okay, so 3 of you.
Yeah.
Nice. And what kind of carpentry do you specialise in?
I wouldn't say I really specialise in any carpentry because, in my opinion, I like to do all of it to a very high standard. First fix, second fix, anything. Final fix, fit windows, front doors, the whole lot. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So no, I mean I enjoy watching your projects kind of on reel on Instagram and seeing the level of detail you're putting into some of those hand cut roofs, and yeah, it's always very interesting. I admire those kind of level of technicalities that goes into carpentry. So it's very cool. What about you, Simon? Can you give us a little down on yourself and your company?
Certainly. In a nutshell, because my story is quite long-winded, quite different to Josh's, I came to the trade a little bit later. I will have been 26, 27, something like that. Didn't go to college. I was trained by a time-served joiner. He taught me not quite everything that I know, but close to it. I decided that I want to specialise in the external stuff, the timber frame stuff that's in people's gardens, and more recently the gazebos and the porches and an odd garage here and there and that kind of thing. So my skill set is very focused on that. Probably quite a bit narrower than Josh's. I know Josh has got a huge wealth of knowledge about the industry. Mine is very focused, but I very much enjoy doing what I do.
Yeah.
There's myself and one other. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. That is a very well kept secret. But that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can ask people to try to guess your age. But yeah, so both in carpentry, both enjoy what you do. Obviously, we've got yourself, Lewis, who's broad, who will touch about everything, and you, Simon. That's you kind of find your niche, haven't you?
I have.
I'm, you know, in landscaping, we talk a lot about niches and finding your style, working with designers. Different designers have different niches, so that's quite interesting. One of the questions that I had for you tonight, and I might as well ask it now because we're on the subject, and you know, different style of carpentry. So you know, for people who don't know, we landscapers will touch basics. You know your timber frame on a garden room, and you know a little bit of roofing, and as well, you know the more meatier things like pergolas out of oak and different Douglas fir and stuff like that. But if you had to pick, so obviously Simon, you've got your niche. It's quite clear. But if you had to pick one, maybe different to what you do now, what would you pick in carpentry? Would you go totally like opposite and do like cabinet making, or would you specialize in anything else?
I think I would specialise in probably timber frame houses. You know, the stick built houses like you see in America.
Yeah.
I feel I'm I'm better suited to bigger pieces of timber,
Yeah.
less fine detail work. Not that we don't put plenty of detail into what we do, because we
I
do,
was gonna say.
but I'm not interested in making cabinets. I haven't got the patience for it.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in fitting kitchens. When I was learning, we did a bit of kitchen fitting, and I just couldn't make it gel. And from a business perspective, I couldn't make it pay.
Yeah.
But I think, I watch the big timber framers in the States on YouTube, and I think that looks like fun. That looks like you can see where you've been, you can see where you've built, what you've built that day. It's clearly very satisfying. They go up fast.
Yeah, I was going to say the speed.
Yeah, it just appeals. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just appeals to me.
I could see that. Because I've seen my family lives in America, and my little brother is a builder there, and the speed they put those timber frames up, they're like skymonk. They're jumping. The framers are another level. They're just so fast. I don't know about the quality compared to what we do in the UK, but it's definitely inspiring to look at different ways of doing things in different countries. What about you, Lewis? What would be your niche if you had to pick a niche?
I don't know. It would definitely be timber framing. Same as Simon. I love watching. It'll probably be more roofing side of things, like you see Ryan Smith, the roof slayer, his sort of work.
Hand cut roofs and
yeah, proper heavy big roofs. But I love timber framing, and to be honest, my dream would be to go out to Canada and throw up some timber frame and just get involved with it and just have a good time with it, because it'll, like the timber frame we're on, we built the outside shell and all the internal stuff work in like a couple of weeks, and that was just with me and my apprentice at the time. So don't get me wrong, I was feeling buggered after the day, but the feeling that you get when you see something being built, it gives you a rush, and I really love that rush. It's I couldn't imagine it. It's probably a bad way of putting it, but it's probably the same sort of feeling that someone gets when they take drugs.
yeah.
It just gives you that. It just gives you that.
Well, that endorphin,
Yeah,
that little kick.
I can't explain it. It just makes me excited. Like I want to leave the house at 6 in the morning and get home at midnight. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing better. I couldn't think of anything else I'd rather be doing.
Oh well, that is quite inspiring to hear that. It's quite nice to hear. you know, someone so passionate about his industry and stuff like that. That's really nice. So obviously, I met you, Josh, at Futurescape a few years ago,
Yeah,
and I think you were working a little bit while you were helping Will
yeah,
at Red
yeah,
Hill. Do you
yeah,
remember? And we
yeah,
had a chat about it a little bit, and at the time you were thinking a lot of doing oak frames, a bit like what Simon was
yeah,
doing, and that really kind of tickled you a little bit. So is that still in your mind?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I absolutely love working with Will and Darren. I think them two are are a pair of the country's best landscapers, and you would probably agree,
Yeah,
for Will's age and his wealth of knowledge. Will and Darren are proper gentlemen to work with. It's
yeah, they are.
nothing stress, and it's just, you know what they're like. But going back to the question, yeah, I would love to go and do more oak frames and garden rooms, because Will and Darren have got it, the groundwork side of things all set up. Like if we got a drawing that needed a certain foundation or a certain slab, Will and Darren would have that done in a day to millimeter
Yeah,
perfect. So you've never got to worry about anything like that. So everything starts in the ground, and once you've got everything in the ground perfect like they do, um, everything just flies up easy. So
hmm
I would like to do more oak frames, because once again, it's a job that is very satisfying to watch, and I even get satisfaction watching Simon's stories. To be fair,
yeah. It's so true that I mean, Simon, you build like beautiful gazebos, and you know you do them so well, and they're girthy. You know, they're manly things, right?
Big
And
sticks, eh? Big sticks.
they are big sticks, but you know, I don't get bored. I don't get bored of seeing those pieces come together. And it's funny because we had a chat one, Simon, and you were kind of giving me pointers on social media and things like that. And I always had this perspective in my mind of I don't want to share something that I've done too many times, you know. And you said, I don't remember exactly your words, but people don't get bored of me using those big machines, you know.
mm.
It's what you do day in, day out. And actually, you know, you're just putting really, really real content. You're not trying to make something new or something that's not new, right?
No, no.
Um,
We've made the same or similar videos um, quite a few times over the years.
yeah,
Um, and I had the same thought process as you, like how many times can I get this massive plane out and expect people to be interested? But
yeah,
I just try and do it slightly differently, film it slightly differently, just put a slightly different slant on it. But I enjoy using it every time it comes out. So, and I guess people enjoy seeing it being used every time it comes out.
yeah,
Same with the mortars, same with everything. Same with putting the roofs on. Same with everything. And everything's in a different environment. The background always looks different.
yeah.
It is what it is, isn't it? You know, I can't generate content on anything other than what I'm doing, and if that's what I'm
No.
doing that day, that's what the content's going to be on.
Yeah, no, and that is again, like I was saying earlier, I personally, I just enjoy your content. It's very well thought, put together. So yeah, keep that going because we enjoy it. So the next question for you both, it would be more on your business. So obviously we know you love the carpentry side, you love what you do, but growth. So have you? Have you both got, you know, a plan on where to bring your business, or yourself, Simon? You've been going on a while with what you do. Is it something where you're happy where you're at, and you're going to keep it, you and Mark, and just build beautiful structures, or have you got, you know, plan for growth in that respect?
No, that's an interesting question because for a long time I'd convinced myself that I was looking for growth, and friends and family members were kind of saying, when you're going to grow, when you're going to take more people on, when's the team going to get bigger, when you're going to do this, when you're going to do that. And I'd always say, yeah, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. But as years went by and I wasn't doing it, I kind of looked into myself and I thought, well, why am I not growing? Why am I not taking more people on? And I've come to terms with the fact that I just don't want to. I'm more than happy with the scale of the operation I've got.
Yeah,
Myself and Mark work really, 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 really well together. We're like an elderly couple. If you could hear some of the conversations that go on site off camera, it's quite hilarious.
yeah,
Uh, and I don't want to upset that dynamic. And I don't want a bigger beast that needs more food. I'm comfortable where I'm at. I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy the pace that we work at. which as I get older seems to be getting a bit less, but that's a different story. No, I've come to terms with the fact that in terms of growth, I just
happy where you are.
I'm totally happy where
Yeah.
I'm at. Yeah.
No,
And
that's good as well.
it's taken me a long time to come to terms with that in myself.
Yeah.
Strangely, but I have. So.
Yeah. What about you, Lewis?
Um,
Oh,
in,
Josh, sorry, man. I need to stop calling
in
you fucking Lewis.
in my own personal opinion, I'm still wet behind the ears with all of this sort of stuff. And I've got enough people around me with enough business experience to tell me big ain't beautiful. And to be honest, it's the same with Wheel Radial Landscapes. You kind of see that big isn't beautiful. It starts really grating down on people. So at the moment in my head, I just want me, my brother, and someone else, and we'll just go and rule the world. And that's all I want at the minute.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I've tried to scale up so many times and failed so many times, and I'm realizing as well, like you guys are, keeping things small, simple, but well managed and well coordinated. Sometimes it's better than having. I mean, a couple of summer it was 12 of us, and it was insane. It was just
More
stupid.
people, more problems.
More people, more problems, and actually less money because you're fixing a lot of the. You know, sometimes we're realizing we've got rid of tree surgery and maintenance, and we're just running 2 teams now on landscaping, and we're making more money. It's healthier. It's more productive. So it's not all about growth. I like to ask this question because some people bring new ideas to the table. If it's Simon, you could have a showroom showcasing different style pergolas and gazebos and things like that for clients to come in and pick one directly, or it's sometimes it just tinkles on your brain and you come up with ideas, right? So yeah. The next question would be, and again, trying to make it as related to landscapers as possible, is so you see, I mean, you look at, Will today, did you see his video putting the oak and making some joints and that? What would you not recommend? How to formulate that? What would you recommend to a landscaper trying to refine his carpentry skills? Where would he start? Would you do a course? Would he, what would you recommend to someone wanting to refine his carpentry skills?
Get me in to do it.
Yeah. Nice. That's simple, man. Right, that's simple. Just get Josh to do it. Right, that's ideal. I'll be calling you every week now.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've got the availability, mate.
Just give it a go, and if you mess up, that's where you learn from, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I'm sure Will done something on those oak posts that he wishes that he done differently at the end, but it's all hindsight, and it's something that then you can take on to the next job.
Yeah. So learn from your mistakes.
I would say start simple. Pay attention to the engineering behind it. Try and understand how strong it needs to be, and make it at least that strong. If you can see an opportunity to over-engineer it within reason. You don't need to go berserk. Have a look around, see what good looks like, see what other people are doing, try and see what's going on, and just get a feel for it. But start simple, and then once the simple things are easy, then move on to the next level. If let's take decking for example. Start with a square one.
Yeah.
All right. Next time I'm going to put a picture frame detail around it. Well, how did the joist pattern work? All right. Now I've mastered that. Let's see what happens. Let's throw a curve in the mix. Let's try and work out how to frame that out.
Angles, yeah.
And before you know it, you can
go around the house.
Exactly. I think somebody did that once, didn't they?
Yeah. No, I'm a great believer in putting it's no other way than putting yourself in a deep end to learn in some ways. I mean, I came to the UK as a French guy that didn't speak English, and to remove myself from a comfort zone in France to in England learning a new language and setting a new life here, you have to just put yourself in a deep end. And I think it's the same with any kind of new skills that you're inquiring, is to just go full blown at it. And like you say, Simon, make some research, talk to people. I mean, this platform is great for it. And I'm sure I've peeled your brains more than once on a few things. So, you know, that is really important to make the research, to you know, talk to suppliers as well. So, you know, I built some pergolas, you know, on projects, and the first thing I do is I call my where we get the wood. So we get the wood from a sawmill. Andrew, old school, man. You go there, you need wellies. It's mud everywhere. Big tractors, big loaders. It's not fancy. It's rudimentary, but he's got one of the longest sawmill in the UK. So we can get pieces, you know, stupid lengths, but obviously they'll start doing this. But yeah, I call him. I say, "Oh, we're making this project. What do you reckon? Oh, Douglas fir. What have you got in the yard?" And you know, on some of the pieces, he must say, "If you do it at oak, it's going to be really heavy." You know, it's some other words, and learning that, because I remember, you know, you build something and straight away the customer wants oak, 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 oak. But it's other words as well, and learning all of that is really interesting. It's such a journey, isn't it? To learn more.
It's a good point you made there, Oz. I found my suppliers to be an absolute wealth of
Yeah,
knowledge.
Yeah,
They're
that's
more than
the
willing,
result.
more than willing to help. I often go in and say, I'm in this situation. I've got to get over this, or I've got to get around that. What do you recommend? What have you got? What's easily procurable? Let's find the solution that you've got on the shelves rather than the solution that's got to be ordered in from somewhere. And they're just happy to dispense
yeah.
that knowledge. It's
No, I
yeah,
think it's great. I think it's like having a chat tonight. You know, hopefully we can walk away with some knowledge. I think I'm the same on my day-to-day quoting or routine, or you try to chat with as many people as you kind of encounter, and you might just take one piece of information a day, but that piece it just helps you for you know, many years to come.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was that question. So moving on to the next, before I keep on banging on about what I'm talking about. So one thing that we all know, and obviously watching your videos, Simon, is quite clear. Big tools, big machinery. Lewis, you got a van. The setup is just mega. So I would say carpenters might have a slight obsession for tools. Yeah, I think I might be right there, but
I think that's a
you
bit
know, maybe
unfair,
we
don't
can find
you,
out a bit
Josh?
more from you guys.
Yeah, that's a little bit moody.
So, have you got anything to say about this obsession then?
The obsession with tools. I think that you've kind of got to have them if you want to do a job in a timely manner. You've got to have them. I
Yeah,
don't own anything that I don't use to its pretty much maximum potential. I've got
yeah,
no frivolities. There's a lot of kit. There's a lot of tools. I don't, I can't be shy about that. Everybody sees them on socials and on stories and so on and so forth. But we use every single one of them. They're
yeah,
not frivolous things. You can do most things without any power tools, but from a business perspective, you're never going to make any money. You're just
yeah.
not. So
So you're talking of efficiency.
efficiency, yeah, and I think it's important to have um, appropriately good quality.
Mm,
Yeah, if you want something to do a job quickly with plenty of power behind it, you need a professional grade one.
yeah,
And the benefit of that is it'll last a hell of a long time, and it'll do the job it's meant to do in a much better fashion.
yeah. No, I can't agree with you more. What about you, Lewis? What's your opinion on the tool front? So I know you're a D-wall guy.
Nah,
No?
I'm a D-wall. I'm more of a Festool person. Because you know me personally, you've seen what's in the back of my van, and I don't sleep easy at night knowing what is there.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, but I also have a conservatory full of tools because I'm the sort of person, if I have a tool, I'd go and buy another one not even thinking about it just to keep it as a spare. But yeah, I like my DeWalt Hikoki Festool. I just don't like Makita. Don't listen to Radial Landscapes. I've just never liked it. Me and Simon had this chat over the weekend. Yeah.
That's funny.
But it is important for me to spend the money on the tools, because at the end of the day, if I use it, it's going to make its money back, and it's not really the thing I always tell people is tools aren't a waste of money, they're an investment, and I'll be more than happy to spend whatever I've got on tools, because you're going to use it and it makes your life easier at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, I can't agree. I talk a lot about this. Efficiency for us is key. Having the right tool won't let you down. You know, having someone will let you down, but your tools in general, if they're looked after, they won't let you down. So I think investing in the right equipment is
I absolutely love your Avance and Wheel's Avance just being such a lifesaver. I don't use it, but just seeing what Wheel does with it, it just saves
game
him
changer
and his
for us
body
because
so much.
we're moving a lot of materials,
Yeah.
you know, pallets and this is it's a cost of a labourer, but that turns up every day.
Yeah, don't mind.
I'd love to have one of those machines.
Yeah.
We've worked at a client's house years ago, and he had one, and it was just brilliant.
Yeah,
I'd love one.
you would do well with those, Simon. I think.
Yeah.
And I can see how they can lift the beams and they can get them in the right place and they can move them around whilst working on them and so on and so forth. But a lot of the time, we're not in an environment that's quite spacious enough. We work in some big gardens, but they're all very, very finished often. You know, we're the kind of guys that will go into one of your projects, for example, right at the end when all the planting's done and all the patio's done and everything's done. And if I got behind the wheel of one of those Avant thing, I'd turn it into a ploughed field. I know I would. And no one's going to thank me for that. The point I'm making is I've got tool envy on the Avant front. I have.
The Avant is definitely, as a landscaper at least, is a must machine to have. Obviously, you know, it's a big outlay. You know, you're talking 38 grand plus, so it's not small money. But I keep on saying, it was a carpenter, a friend of mine. I don't know if you guys follow him, Chardon Bespoke Furniture. He makes kitchens for a living, and he makes them very well. And he told me once, he said, I'll invest in any machine before I invest in people, without sounding rude. But you know, he's got you know, all sorts of machines to help his life, and he was making beautiful kitchens with 2 guys in a workshop, right? And it was a lean team, but he had all the machinery there to help him. And I don't think he gets rid of the skill, because you still need skill to manipulate the machines and to put everything together. But it just makes you more efficient. You make more money. You can do more jobs. So Simon, you know, for you can turn one gazebo a lot quicker than if you just had a handsaw and a chisel, right? So in theory, you can do much more gazebos than, you know. So it's all down to that.
And with more accuracy as well.
Exactly.
But it's an interesting point you made. It doesn't take the skill away, because you've still got to know how to get the most out of your machines.
Yeah.
And sometimes these machines, they can have a bit of a personality. You've got to kind of know just how to work it, how to position it, how to just make it behave. Particularly like the mortising machine, for example, and the big planer. You've just got to know kind of like how it's going to perform on each particular piece of wood. You've got to learn your machines, and the skill then becomes in how to get the most out of them. I can see Josh nodding. Have you got some pieces of kit like that?
No, but when I was in I used to work in a workshop. I was actually a bench joiner when I first started, and obviously you have the big planer, thicknesser, the tenon, the spindle moulder, and you've got to really look at the timber to know what way you want to put it through the machines, because you're either going to have a really smooth, nice finish, or it's going to come out covered in splinters.
To read that stick.
Read the wood. Super important, isn't it? The grain and
follow the grain.
the grain, all that malarkey. That's great.
Mm.
You know, obviously, you know, tools really helps. But if you had to put your hands are a tool, right? And we talk about carpentry. Let's deviate from that route for a little while. And if you had to turn your hand to a different trade, all right, something not carpentry related, what would it be? Fire away, boys.
Josh, you go first.
Oh, it would have to be landscaping. It really
You
would.
just said that.
It would.
For real?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
nice.
I like being outdoors. I like getting my hands dirty. I like digging holes. I like moving material. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love being a carpenter. But if there's a day where someone goes, right, if I've got no work or something, if it's a Saturday or a Sunday, go, do you want to come and push a barrow? But yeah, I'll be down for that. It's the sort of person I am.
Yeah. Touch a
Yeah.
little bit of everything as well. Landscaping is quite
Yeah.
good for that because we touch a little bit of masonry, a bit of tiling, a bit of this, a bit of
Yeah.
that. It's quite varied, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good for dyslexic people, I think.
Mm.
I'm going to throw a curveball
Go on.
because it's
Yeah.
not really a trade, but it's kind of related to the trades.
Ooh.
If I had my time again and I was intelligent enough, which I'm not, I'd be a structural engineer.
Ah, yeah. I can see that. I can see that. And actually, your drawings, you know, when you do your drawings about your pagodas,
It shows.
and those fingers are not meant for pencils, mate. I'm sorry to say, but your fingers are not meant for it. But you drive them well. Your drawings they come out good, man. Like, always so impressed with that
They are,
process.
they are. I think that's born from doing A-level design technology.
Yeah.
And when I was at school, obviously computers were a thing, right? I'm not that old. But learning how to draw three-dimensional computer graphics wasn't a thing. It wasn't
So
a
it was
thing.
quite manual, yeah.
Yeah, it was there's your scale rule, there's your drawing board, crack on. So that's what I learned, and that's what I
Yeah.
became proficient at.
Yeah.
And that's still all I know. I've tried to learn SketchUp. I watched I don't know how many hours of YouTube tutorials, and I put it on a computer, and I thought, right, there's a reason why everybody else does this. This must be the future. I can't do it, and I have no
No.
problem. I had no problem admitting that. I'm of a different era. I just can't do it. I can't.
Yeah, no,
I've
I
tried.
quite agree with you.
Truly, I have, but I can't do it.
You know what? It's something about I think we design we create a lot of gardens from designers, and we still get, and you'll be surprised, Simon, but we still get a lot of hand-drawn designs, and I think customers do really appreciate that as well. So I think you've got two different types of designers. You've got the 3D renders, visual walkthroughs, all very digitalized, or you've got the more purist. Oh, I don't want to say they're purist, but you know, the more traditional, still pen to paper and colours and everything like that.
In
And
my
I do like,
experience in the last couple of years, the drawings that are hand drawn are the easiest drawings to follow.
yeah,
That's
Do
for
you know
sure.
what? You've taken the words out of my mouth there, Josh. I was just going to
Yeah.
ask which ones are easier to read, the hand drawn ones or the flashy
The hand
CAD ones?
drawn ones,
well,
hand drawn ones all the
exactly.
way.
The hand-drawn ones are easy because, like you say, Josh, like everything's like written down and you can see.
Yeah.
Then the technical drawings from you
Because
know
when they're drawing it, if they want any notes, they'll put the notes at the bottom of the page there and then.
exactly.
Whereas on a computer, you got to remember that.
Yeah, well, you're going to need to go through the specs and you know hunt through. So no, I like the old fashioned, and it's a bit like our industry can. You know, we're trying to modernize things, and maybe for you guys, you know, you modernize things how we do things.
Yeah.
But the good old techniques are still the same in how you cut your hand cut roofs or how you join your two big lumps of oak together. You know, so the old fashioned ways is definitely the best ways for
Yep.
sure. But you know, it's always interesting to see the different levels and the different skill sets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now this is a little bit light-hearted. Don't you can go as deep as you want on this. But what has been your biggest fuck up? Because I mean, I've done some when we talk about carpentry, because I'm dyslexic as well. So I'll kick it off. And I did a project last winter, not this winter just gone, the one before, and we did a lot of cedar actually. Simon, you'll know about this cedar fencing. You've just done a finished one, but we made some bespoke gates, and it was raining. We were underneath the gazebo. You know the routine. Trying to work outside in this freaking weather, and we made the gate, measured it. Left some space for hinges and expansion for over time, and we built the fucking gate. It was lovely jubbly. And I stood it up, proud as that poor Simon. I wanted to stand next to the gate, really proud. I put it next to the entrance, mate. It was like 100 mil too small. It was like, what? Where did I fuck up? And I don't know if I'm totally special, or it happens to you guys. I hope it happens to you guys as well.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear it from you guys. Where's been the biggest
The
mess
100
up?
mil, the 100 mil too short or the 100 mil too big. That is a classic error. It's just a simple
Yeah.
misread on your tape measure. I don't believe anybody hasn't made that mistake. We've made it, and we'll continue to make it. Not often, but often enough for it to be.
And it hurts when it happens,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it does. It does if it's 100 mil too short.
Yes. Yeah. 100 mil too big is different. And you know what? We were running short on everything. It was the last gates. We were running on off-cuts anyway. And at that point, it's horrible, isn't it? But here you go. We live and we learn. And my customer appreciated me, going to him and saying, "Can I need to order some more cedar?" But it does happen. What about you, Lewis? Have you ever made a big one? Josh, I'm so sorry to call you Lewis, man.
All right.
I keep on doing it.
Oh no, we've only spoke almost daily for the last 3 years.
No. For me, you're just Lewis, and you just look like a Lewis, and I just can't get my head around that.
All right, I'll take it to court and I'll go and change my name.
All right, sorry, Josh.
Obviously we do the old 100 mil trick here and there, and I don't really think about that. It's just the way it is. But one that sticks into my head was, as an apprentice, it was we were finishing off this lovely kitchen in Horsham near me for a lovely customer, and it was Christmas Eve, and they wanted the kitchen done for Christmas, ready for all their family to come, and the kitchen was 99% there. And my old boss goes, "Josh, you can do the appliance doors." Yep, done loads, easy peasy. I screwed all the fittings onto the doors and stuff, all to hang on to the dishwasher and the pantry and the fridge and whatever. Put all of the fittings on, ready to go. Right, that's it, hang them on. I turned the doors over, all the screws are poking out the other side because it was a shaker door. My heart fell out my bum.
Oh, mate. Yeah.
Was that recoverable with the doors ruined?
To be fair, my boss, considering he is a very strict person, he saw the funny side and just got him resprayed by a local sprayer that we used to use. So, in grand scheme of things, it was nothing. But for me, it was absolutely heartbreaking. I still remember it.
It is devastating, isn't it? I know when I make an error, maybe I put a mortise in the wrong place on a post or whatever the error is, it really kind of knocks you for six, even if it's only just for a few minutes.
Because we care too much at the end of the day.
I think it probably is.
I'd lose sleep about stuff like that.
And then the other thing that happens is you try and, well, how can I fix it? How can I get around it? How can I do this? In reality, the faster, certainly for me, the faster I can get that ruined piece of timber out of my sight.
Yeah.
Get me a fresh one so I can just do it again. The better for me.
I'm the same. I'm the kind of I need to fix it then and there.
Yeah. Just get it out of my sight. Let's just get another one and get it done. There's no point talking about how we're going to fix it. We can't fix it, so just get another one. It's a race to fix it as fast as you can, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not leaving site until you're kind of satisfied in some ways and amended what should have been. I'm very much the same, a bit obsessive when it comes to that, actually.
Yeah,
I did make an error today, actually. I don't know if you've seen stories,
I
but I
saw.
managed to stick the grinder through not one, but two armoured cables
Yes,
underneath the
yeah, you
patio.
done well.
I saw that, Simon. I felt for
Yeah,
you
so
because I've done that on the drive project I'm on. I was braking. I went through three armored cables, and you know what? I fixed them with it's called a submarine kit.
yeah,
So basically, it's like a plastic. It looks like a submarine. It's got a little lid at the
I
top.
like it. I'd call it a torpedo joint.
Yeah. I called it a submarine kit,
Yeah.
whatever. And yeah, you just put it and crimp the cables, and then pour the liquid in it.
yeah. I put a recip saw through
That's
a gas pipe a while ago. That was fun.
good.
Yeah, gas pipe is stressful.
Yeah,
Gas pipe is very
I loved
stressful.
it.
I'd done it once with a digger, and it was a big one. It was and the smell that came out instantly. Honestly, I shut my pants. I
This
was
was
like,
a
shit.
this was a 22 mil pipe, and it was absolutely huffing out.
Yeah, it's scary though, isn't it? And I think this is, again, cables. Obviously, you can detect cables. So sometimes, you've got CAT scans and that you've got. But now the newer pipes are all plastic.
Yeah, I
So
don't understand that.
gas, water, all plastic, and
Stupid.
you can send like a charge for them and try to find it, but they're really hard to find. So as landscapers, we struggle with pipes, and I'm terrible for going through them.
Yeah,
Just
no,
So
well,
is it just on the cables running under the patio, which is what I've done today.
yeah,
That's what I cut. Is there how far underneath the patio are they meant to
well,
be, or is underneath the
underneath the
patio?
patio is
I
tricky.
don't know the answer to that.
No, I mean we'll lay directly, the Type 1 base,
Yeah.
and we would lay them on the Type 1 and then bed the
Yeah.
slabs on the cable. So
it's not
that
actually that deep, is it?
no, because it's bedded in. So
Mm.
it's different if it's on the open ground and you're, digging. They need to be a certain depth.
I thought you was going to say you put it under the Type 1, because then that gives you a
No,
little bit of.
no, because often you'll do your first fix once everything's dug out.
Yeah, I
So
guess.
apart if it depends on timing, but often you'll do your groundworks, then first fix electrics.
Yeah.
But by that point, you want to lay on different levels if the level changes.
Mm.
But often we tend to lay them in ducting.
Yeah.
So like you, Simon, you go through. You'll go through the ducting first.
Yeah. In this instance, given the machine that I was using, ducting wouldn't make
What were you doing? Were you cutting slabs out
Yeah.
to put a footing in?
Exactly that.
I
Yeah.
mean,
No
you can't
chance.
avoid it sometimes. You can't avoid it. Especially in patios like that, it's not like you can trace them back.
No.
No.
No, you can't.
But it was one of those situations, like we were saying just a few minutes ago. I've done it. It's happened. I've told the customer, sorry, just
It gets fixed. At the
Yeah,
end
an
of the day,
electrician.
it gets fixed. I went through the gas pipe and you just said to the customer, I'm sorry. Well, I was on the phone straight to the gas people,
Mm.
and in the hour it was fixed.
Did you get a bill for that?
And so they didn't change. They said we're going to send you a bill, and I said, well, you can try. Send me a bill, but I ain't going to pay it because it was a plastic
Yeah.
pipe. So nowadays they mold them, so they drive them from the road to the new property.
Yeah.
So you don't have any way of CAT scanning it.
Mm-hmm.
So in some way, I told them I didn't even CAT scan, but I said, well, I CAT scan, mate, and it didn't come on my reader. So
Well, the trick is, right, if you hit a gas pipe, just call them up and say you smell gas. Don't tell them that you don't. Just say, I smell gas, and then they come out and repair it for
I've
free.
been told that. I've been told this.
And they're not suspicious when they see the digger still ticking over.
To be fair, the fitters on
nothing to do with me.
site,
The
fitters on
pipes are
site will
like
do the
this,
old
the
normally.
pipes
They're
are like
normally
this.
like
I
that.
can really smell gas. That's hilarious. So let's get back to serious. So we talked about fuck ups, and that happens in carpentry as much as it happens in landscaping. But the one thing that I take a lot from carpentry people, I've worked with a carpenter when I was younger, but what I take from you boys especially is the amount of jigs that you make to make your life easy. So I see so many jigs and great ideas to just make a process faster, make a process more accurate, and I think that is mainly driven by carpenters. I feel like they've got a jig for everything at this rate. So I want to hit you up, maybe you, Lewis, because I've seen you've been hitting a few jigs on your Instagram recently that I always enjoy watching because they just make your life easy, right?
That's what they're
just
for.
well,
If you
exactly
got
that.
if you're doing something more than once, it's more beneficial to make a jig because not only I can use it, I can set someone else to use it, and I'll still get the same outcome.
Yeah. No, it is so handy.
Yeah.
I love making a little jig for, to speed things up and to think a bit outside the
Yeah.
box. And, like what you were doing, Simon, you've got a lot of repetition on the cedar fence you were doing and finding systems. I think that's the best part of our manual kind of labor is to always find a better system to what we're trying to achieve or speeding things up. So I want to take my hat off to all the great ideas on social media coming from not landscape carpenters and helping the industry get better. So I thought that was quite something that I wanted to say because it does come from you guys. Anyway, so let's hit a little bit about social media. I'm not going to ask you guys or prod because I've seen it. You can't say much about what happened over the weekend, but it looks very exciting. But hitting social media and growth on your platforms. Obviously, Simon, you've been recognised on social media for a long time now, and you keep on growing and you keep on leading the way for many young people in carpentry, in landscaping, in all sorts of form of trades. So I do appreciate you as a person for what you've done to the industry, and it has to be said. It's nice to see that it's possible for us tradesmen to put ourselves out there, to show our skills, and to be recognised a little bit on this platform. So, what is your journey with social media and how far are you guys willing to push? Have you got a clear plan? And I just want to talk a little bit about social media and gain on that platform. So, Simon, if you want to kick things off.
Yeah, sure. I suppose it started out just as a bit of fun, really. Somewhere to put up a few pictures, somewhere to send my clients, so that I can say, well, Mr. Smith, I'm coming to see you on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Before I get there, just go and have a look on Instagram. You'll see what we're doing. You'll see how we do it. That's the purpose it originally was set up to serve, and it still serves that purpose. Still serves that purpose now. Very fortunately, it's turned into something a little bit more, which is very humbling. It's not a set of circumstances that I set out specifically to try and achieve, but as opportunities have come my way, I've taken them up. What the future holds, who knows? I'm still enjoying.
Obviously, you've got your YouTube. YouTube is slightly different format, different type of content.
Yeah, I feel like I know. I'm comfortable with how I am on short form platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
No.
YouTube is a whole different beast. And
hard.
Mark and I, even though we've been doing it just over a year, I still feel, and I think Mark's the same, that we're still kind of. You talked about niche earlier.
Yeah.
I've kind of got the niche that I'm kind of known for on the short form stuff. On the long form stuff, we're still trying to find our feet. We're still kind of playing with different ideas, different ways of going about making long form videos. They are challenging to make.
Yeah,
They really
hard and time consuming.
Oh, yes. So if we film a long form, for example, we did a gazebo last summer, quite a big one, 6 meters by 3.5 meters, something like that. And I think we did a 3-part series. That, because we filmed it for YouTube, it virtually doubled the amount of time it took.
On site. Yeah, and obviously that has to be accounted for, so you need to see return
Yeah, yeah,
in some, obviously I know, so your short term is making money, but it is, it's reinvesting that in the long term content.
yeah, yeah,
It's a hard game to pierce. I think it's time as well. I
yeah.
think YouTube is plugging at it and keeping consistent as well. What I find really hard personally to keep consistent at anything when it comes to social media, because for me it's an add-on to my real
Oh,
job.
it is. It is for me as well. It's certainly,
No,
although it takes up a lot of time. Um, it's still an add-on
yeah,
to the other side of the business. But long term, the future, I'm kind of looking at it, particularly YouTube, as kind of an exit strategy,
yeah,
so that as I continue to age, as I am, as we all are, um, I can just dial the clock back, or dial the output on the tools back a little bit, and maybe dial it up a bit on the making videos for YouTube kind of
yeah,
thing. If I can make that work, hopefully I
yeah,
can.
yeah. I'm sure you
So
will. I mean, I'm sure you will. I have no doubt you'll manage to pierce that. I think it's piercing that first hurdle of YouTube. Once you go through and you kind of gain that momentum,
you find your feet with it,
yeah,
and you kind of right now that's the style of content we're going to make. This is the
yeah,
flavour that we're aiming for, and I don't feel like we're quite there yet.
yeah,
We've made some good videos. We've made some not so good videos. They're all still out there. We're just kind of waiting to just right now. We know
yeah,
this is the angle that we're going for.
yeah, yeah. No, that sounds exciting.
Mm.
I mean, the long term, I think it's harder nowadays because you have got so much short, you know. Content out there, and I think people's how do you call it, focus on things is quite volatile. So I think maybe a few, 5 or even 10 years ago, YouTube was easier to break through in some ways than now. It's quite. We talk a lot about a saturated market as well. So it's a lot more of us doing what we're doing on social media. So, it does get harder and a bit more competitive, not competitive, but a bit more saturated. So,
Mhm.
I think growth can be a bit more sporadic. But what about you, Lewis? What's your plan with your social media? Because it's growing nicely and you enjoy. I personally really enjoy your story. You're straight to the point and showing us some great content. So, what's your
Yeah.
plan?
Um, at this moment in time, I haven't got a plan
Yeah,
really. Because I only started making videos just to there was originally just to show a couple of people how I do things and whatever, and then I actually posted one of the videos that I sent to someone on Instagram, and it turned out to have quite a good interaction with everyone else. And then that's what really
yeah,
made me start posting more. And then along the way, I've picked up a few things here and there, and I've had people contact me and whatever, and then just whatever happened on the weekend just gone was a proper eye opener. We can't say much, but I'm sure that there's going to be a very bright future ahead of us. And yeah, it was just a real eye opener, and being with Simon, Dave, Alex, and Tyson was just it was just a whole different world, if you like, of the opportunity that was
yeah, linked to social media.
yeah, what's in front of you sort of thing. And it's really exciting. It makes me want to push for it even more, because if you ask me 6 months back, how do you feel about it? I'd go, if Instagram got deleted, it wouldn't bother me at all. And to be honest with you, it still wouldn't, because at the end of the day, I'm a chippy, and that's all I'm here to do, is just be a carpenter and try and be a really good carpenter. But I think social media is just such a good way to show people how you do things or what you do and express yourself to other people. Like I'll go and look at a job, and these people have been following me without me knowing. They go, "Oh, it just feels like that we know you," and that creates a sense of like respect, and people trust you in their houses a bit more. But yeah, that's all I really have to say on stuff on about social media. Really, I've dabbled on YouTube, and I want to do it a bit more when I've got a bit more time to kind of learn more about it. But at the minute, I'm quite happy with the rate my social medias are growing, and I'm just truly humbled by it. Really.
Mm.
No, same. I think I can relate to a lot of what you said there, Josh, because it's you know it's nice to just show what we love as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
To showcase that we are passionate people. You guys do a great job in your field. I look at landscapers, I get inspired. I look at carpenters and I learn.
Yeah.
And I love the platform for those reasons. Really, it's a beautiful place to meet people, to learn, and to showcase our craft. And I think we become a bit more valued as tradesmen, than just being a scruffy guy walking down the street. Now people look at you like, wow, they know what we do. We build beautiful gardens, or we build beautiful houses, but because we're showing, people know.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
I
it's
think
quite
that's
funny because one of the latest reels I've done of just a simple video of how to find the center of a circle.
yeah,
Like there was comments on there of people going, people think tradesmen are really dumb, but you're using a really high level of geometry, and
yeah,
people
yeah,
just like, I remember when I was in college, you had people in your class just trying to pick carpentry just to get out of school, and then
yeah,
you go back to level 3 and there's only 3 of you out of 20 there, and you think, oh, where are they gone? And you go and you just found out through the grapevine that it was too hard for them. And people yeah, they don't really understand what construction is all about, because there's a lot of thinking that goes with it.
A
no,
lot of problem solving, isn't there?
Oh, a
A
lot
lot
every
of
day,
problem
every day
solving.
you're problem solving.
Yeah,
Every day. That's your job, problem
yeah.
solve.
And keeping your wits about you. Well, I'm going to do this, but how's that going to affect what's going to happen in a
Yeah,
few days or in a few minutes' time? And that actually that has a resemblance on this as well. You've got like Mark and I. We spent probably an hour and a half today just working out where the posts are going to go on this gazebo.
yeah,
yeah,
it's critical.
It is
It really is.
because there's a house in the way, not in the way because it's the house. It's not in the way. It's just it is where it is.
yeah,
And there's the outdoor kitchen is there, and the thing's got to be square.
Yeah,
So it's like, well, the breakfast bar's there and the post here. There was a lot to think about for the sake of a few holes to
yeah,
dig. And the
yeah,
temptation is to rush on and plough forward, but
yeah.
you can't.
Sometimes
You've
you
got to solve the
can't.
problems.
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
You've got to solve the problems before they turn into problems.
yeah,
No, exactly
that's
that.
it.
That makes our jobs like interesting as well. I think
Mm.
people in the trade have that mentality,
Yeah,
of wanting to, and I think social media is definitely driving that force of quality up. It's
100%.
making the
Yeah,
industry a better place,
I agree.
and hopefully is drawing in younger people to see that it's a valued job, and not everything is about making money selling drop shipping shit on internet. That they can make money, they can make a good living, a good honest living,
Yeah,
by doing a manual job, a manual trade, or anything like that. So it is definitely a good way to share and to push the industry forward.
for sure.
So that was a lovely, lovely little ending, I find, isn't it?
Yeah,
Talk about the industry with a bit of passion. So I want to thank you both for taking your evening to speak to just a landscaper, not a carpenter, but I've really enjoyed it, and I've really enjoyed having you both talking a little bit more about carpentry and other bits and bobs. And looking forward to seeing more of your content just inspire many people, and keep up the good work, and this live, if you're watching, but you want to tell your friends to watch it again, goes on my YouTube, so people can watch back on it or listen to it. So yeah, it's been a great evening. I had sometimes I didn't really follow the questions. Sometimes they come on that button. I had one, but it's not there anymore. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Josh.
No
Thanks
worries.
for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, and have a great rest of your week. Don't go through any more cables if you can help it.
Watch him hit one tomorrow. Watch him hit a gas line tomorrow.
Yeah, or a gas pipe or anything like that. No fuck ups. Have a great Easter weekend.
And
Take care, guys.
Thank you, mate. Bye bye. See you later.
Bye.
Cheers,
Bye bye.
See ya.